In the world of professional sport, fairy tale stories are rare. But every now and then, an athlete comes along whose journey defies all odds and redefines what resilience looks like. This week, one of South African rugby's most beloved figures. Former Springbok prop Lizo Gqoboka officially called time on his career at the age of 36. To truly understand why his retirement marks the end of an extraordinary era, you have to look back at where it all began. Gqoboka was raised in Mount Frere in the Eastern Cape. Growing up in the rural heartlands, he wasn't exposed to elite sporting academies, modern training facilities, or structured coaching systems. In fact, his early education took place under a tree, and everything he was taught was in isiXhosa. Language was just the first barrier he overcame. Gqoboka didn't even learn English until he reached university. He often laughs when reflecting on those early years, recalling that the very first time he ever ate a pizza with toppings was during his varsity days. He didn't even know toppings existed before then. Work ethic was ingrained in him from a very young age. At just 15 years old, Gqoboka was already earning a living loading trucks. By age 17, he was working at a local funeral parlor. Instead of looking back on those tough years with bitterness, he holds deep affection and gratitude for the people he worked alongside during those formative times. Most modern Springboks pick up a rugby ball as young boys, but Gqoboka didn't touch a rugby ball in earnest until he was 19 years old. Having played soccer and competed in athletics, he relied purely on his raw athleticism and blistering speed. He started out playing as an eighthman before eventually transitioning to the grueling position of prop. In his own words, when he first stepped onto the pitch, he couldn't even tell you the difference between a prop and a hooker. He had never even watched a proper rugby match before playing in one. He was picked simply because he took the ball and ran as fast as he could. His natural power caught the eye of former Springbok Robbie Kempson, who recognized his raw talent and helped secure his very first professional contract with the EP Kings. From there, his trajectory soared. He earned caps for the Stormers and spent a stint overseas with French club Montpellier before finding his ultimate home in Pretoria. For over a decade, Gqoboka became a cornerstone of the Vodacom Bulls forward pack, surviving and thriving for 10 years at one of the most competitive rugby unions in the world required far more than pure talent. It took relentless character, humility, and an unshakable dedication to learning. The ultimate validation of his persistence came when he earned 2 test caps for the Springboks. Representing his country on the international stage was the proudest achievement of his entire athletic career. Throughout his career, Gqoboka locked horns with the world's finest tight heads. When asked who gave him his toughest afternoon in the scrum, he singled out Frans Malherbe, praising him as an all-rounder who possessed both incredible strength and flawless technical precision. Many players are forced out of the game by serious injury, but Gqoboka walked away entirely on his own terms. In his final warm-up match against the Valk, he put on a masterclass performance, scoring 2 tries, winning 8 scrum penalties, and claiming the Man of the Match award. Following that stellar performance, feeling content and healthy, he announced his decision. With back-to-back injuries over recent years signaling that his body was reaching its limit, he retired with a heart full of gratitude. As he hangs up his boots, his next chapter is already fully underway. Guided by his strong faith, Gqoboka recently completed a degree in theology and is moving ministry to the center of his life. He also manages a business in earth-moving equipment. Built on financial discipline, he had practiced since signing his very first contract. From a boy who started school under a tree to a Springbok prop and business owner, Lizo Gqoboka leaves behind a legacy defined by warmth, humility, and determination. We wish him all the best in his next chapter. What was your favorite Lizo memory? Let us know in the comments below.